Alright guys, today we're going to be working on we're going to be rebuilding a carburetor, actually just cleaning out a carburetor on a Bolens 20-inch. It's got a Briggs & Stratton 450 E-Series 125cc. First we'll go ahead and take off the air filter cover, air filter. Any of the parts that we'll use in this, or you may need in this, will be in the description below. Air filter, carburetor, anything like that you'll need. We're going to take the 8mm bolts out and the 7mm bolts out first. Alright, now we got all those bolts out. We'll pull this straight off. This is pretty easy. Usually I'll take this top off to be able to get to these inner cables, but there's usually a choke one on it. This one is not a choke. So we're going to go ahead and pull the fuel line off and drain it. I use a clear Carburetor water bottle just so we can see if there's anything in the bottom. There's a little Gatorade in the bottom, but I think that was probably in the bottle itself. Do not drink this Gatorade. Okay, now we got this all drained out. We're going to go ahead and wiggle this and pull it free. Alright. And then you're just going to tilt it sideways and wiggle it right off of that. Now notice you dropped an O-ring and a white clip. We'll be putting that back on later in the video. First we're going to go ahead and take these two 7mm screws out the bowl. Now with a flathead screwdriver you're going to wiggle and pry in this area right here to get this bowl to pop off. When the bowl is off, you're going to use the same screwdriver and you're going to pry right under here to get the jet off. Now with a flathead screwdriver we're going to pry up on this pin right here and pop this whole float assembly out. It just comes right out once you've popped it out. Just be careful, there is a needle valve in there, right there. Alright, don't lose that. That may have been what this person's problem was, is this wasn't in the float. I don't know, maybe it just slipped out right there. Alright, now we're going to take a can of carburetor cleaner, rinse out this, and rinse off these, and then I'll show you what to do with this. This is the most important part. Okay, and we got all that cleared. We're going to spray with a straw in the carb cleaner through this hole, through this hole, through this hole. And we're going to make sure it goes through nice and clean through all three of them. It's got to come through this hole very solid and straight and clean. Okay, now we're going to start reassembling our carburetor. So this jet here goes in, back in here, facing towards this, and if you look inside there is a white thing in there. Make sure that that is still inside. This will actually hold it down, so when you pull this it can fall out. If that's not in there it will not run. Then you just push this down both sides till it clicks. I'll have to use both hands to do that. Alright, now that we've gotten this in there, we put the needle valve back into the float like so, and then we're going to set the float. I may need both hands to do that too. I'm going to set the float with the needle valve back into that hole without the needle valve falling out. Let's see if I can do it right here. Let's see if I can do it like so, and then push that down till both sides click. Take a good look at it, make sure it's nice and level, it's not off sides or anything, and that should be ready to go. Alright, now we're going to go ahead with the O-ring. Make sure it's nice and clean. Stick it in this opening, get it pushed into place all the way down so it's nice and level and even in there. And then this white clip, make sure it's nice and clean. You're going to push it down until it clicks. Now we're going to go ahead and put the bowl on. The bowl will only fit one direction. See, it sits right down in there nice. If you try the other way, it'll hit and not go in. So it only goes one direction. And then you're going to force that down with both fingers until it is in all the way, lined up with where the screws go. The thick ones, not the thin ones. Lined up with that. Then we're going to put our 7mm screws. So there's long ones, and then there's short ones, and then there's fine thread ones. we're going to go for the long coarse thread ones. Now we're going to work on getting the throttle arm back in place. Takes two hands. I'm going to try doing it with one. No, I'm not. You got to get the throttle back in. You just get it back in the way you took it out. Once you get it started on, twist straight into place, and then you're going to take that nipple, goes right down the edge right there. You line it up with the back, and you push it into place. Nice and snug, right level with this. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put our... oh wait, now we're going to blow out the tank. We don't want to put the fuel line on yet. We got to blow the tank out. I use an air hose, and I blow in here until there's nothing in the tank at all, to make sure there's no water, debris, dust, anything like that. Okay, now we've gotten that. We're going to go ahead and put the fuel line back on. Nice and snug and tight, and make sure you get the clamp back in place. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and put this back on. This hose in the back connects to that. So you're going to get it kind of close with the other one hand. In the other hand you're going to use to push that on. And then you're going to get these little pegs here lined up with the holes and put back in place. It'll go under this vent like this. Alright, now we've gotten this in place, we need to start putting our screws back in. So you've got 4 screws left. We've got 7mm coarse thread, 8mm fine thread. We're going to start with a 7mm coarse thread. They go on each side of the intake for the carburetor. Alright, now we've gotten them started, not all the way in, and then we're going to start the 8mm. We're going to get one here and one here. Now, once you've gotten all 4 of them started, then you can tighten them all in. Now we're going to put an air filter in. I'm just going to go ahead and put a brand new one in. This one is salvageable. You can wash this in gasoline and blow it out with air hose, or just set it out into the sunlight for a half hour or so and let it dry, and then you can put it back in. But they're so cheap. I'm just putting it right in. No big deal. Once you've put the air filter in, make sure you clean the air filter cover really well so that there's no debris on it. Just use a can of carb cleaner, and then reinstall. Okay, now that the air filter is in place, put in some fresh gas, put the lid on it, fire it up. Should fire first pull. You prime it 3 times, should fire first pull every time. That's how you know it's done perfectly. If it takes 2-3 pulls, your jet's still slightly clogged. Alright guys, so that's how you do a carburetor on a Bolens MTD 20-inch cutting with a Briggs & Stratton 450E 125cc lawnmower. Any of the parts you'll need, carburetor, air filter, anything that, you know, tune-ups wise, spark plug, will be in the description below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up so that everybody knows that I'm doing some good work, and you give me some love. Here's today's t-shirt. That'll also be in the description below. Peace.